Hi, everyone, and welcome, members, to the Healing Wednesday Circle of 12. I am Lee Carroll.
And I am Monica Moran.
This is Healing Wednesday. We come together every week, and we have, as many of you know, special guests. We have questions and answers, which we're going to do. We have discussions, which we often do, maybe, meditations, and, of course, always have channeling. This is a members meeting. This is the fourth one of the month now. You might ask, what do we do on the fifth Wednesday of the month? We have a meeting. So you tune in next week because we're going to have the favorite Wednesday, fifth Wednesday. Now that's for English speakers. If you're a Spanish speaker and you are on this portal, why? You should be on the Spanish portal, but I will tell you, there's a special Spanish show for you coming on the fifth Wednesday of this month. All right. For you members, were you aware we have an audio of every single show for those of you who perhaps would want to listen instead of watch and listen? And that happens when your internet isn't strong, and we know that's true. We also have an index which talks about every single show we've done, talks about what happened, who the guests were, when it happened, and also what the discussions were in the channel and what happened in the Circle of 12. Monica has made that index. She continues to. She is a great archivist, and that's one of the great things that she does for us. All the replays for a whole year so far are available to the members, only the members, and they're available through this index, and you can find them, and they're available as long as you're a member. Now, we're starting another year of programs, and that means that there's going to be another 50. So this time next year, I'm going to be sitting here telling you there's 100 programs, and they don't go away, and that's for every single member. So that is what you get with membership, and thank you so much for being a member here with us. If you are looking at this and it is live streaming and it's not working well, and sometimes that happens, and sometimes it stops and starts and whatever, if you can't correct it by refreshing and you can't find the right audio button or anything else, please don't be frustrated. Just stop and come back. Come back in about an hour or so, and you're going to find after the show that the replay is there, and it will be clean. You might do some just stay around for the chat, and even if it starts and stops, because we just love to be with our friends and all that, and then watch it later as well, and we know that's so. This month we have a theme. Yet again, Kryon has been giving themes about whatever. This time it's been the soul. So there's been so many themed months in channeling with Kryon. So I want to throw it to Monica for a moment and have her tell just a little bit about that.
So I love that we are getting more information on the attributes of the soul. And some of you may recall that in one of the channels given this month already, Kryon mentioned that his partner Lee would give lectures and talks on the 9 attributes of the human soul. And there's possibly some of you wondering, well, gosh, I would love to be able to know what that was or get my hands on it. Well, guess what? I have some good news for you. In the audios, the kryon.com/free audio, go to the year of 2013, look down and search for June in Mount Shasta, because that is where Kryon gave a channel and revealed all of those 9 attributes of the human soul. So that's what you can find easily for free. For those of you who want to get a little more in-depth with the study of it, well, guess what? I have actually written a book, and it is called The Human Soul Revealed. And this entire book is dedicating to giving all of the details about those 9 attributes of the human soul. And the information from Kryon is so beautiful, and it really expands our knowledge on just how big and magnificent and wondrous our human soul is. And in fact, one of the things Kryon says that you call it a human soul, which is funny because it's only a human soul because it belongs to the human, but the soul is the soul. You can't even put the name of a human soul onto it because it's way bigger than that. So I'm glad that I was able to share that little bit of research and knowledge and information with those who wish to find more. And we're now going to move to the question and answer section of our knowledge and information with those who wish to find more. And we're now going to move to the question and answer section of our program. Guidelines, again, are very simple. Ask questions that others can benefit from. Don't have those deep personal questions, and make your questions short and concise. So here we go. First question, and I believe the name is pronounced Yuan, although it has an interesting spelling of I-O-A-N, but I do believe it's Yuan is how you pronounce your beautiful name, from Quebec in Canada. And Yuan is asking, or first of all stating, I was part of a spiritual group, and now I'm in your group. I realise how much I find my joy of living. My inner contacts are reactivated, and I believe everything can be possible again for my soul and my health. A person from the group that I left told me this: you will have to start all over again. You can't transfer spiritually that easily. You will lose what you have acquired. Thank you for enlightening me on this question. So, Lee, what's your response to that comment and that questions?
Yuan, when I left the Christian church, they told me the same thing. It hurt my heart. It really hurt my heart for numbers of reasons. They told me I was just going against God because I was leaving their group. That nothing I had learned would apply to what I was going to go into because it wasn't their doctrine or what they believed or their group. And basically they told me I was lost. Instead, here's what happened. I kept the entire truth that God loves me. I kept the entire feeling of what that feels like to be loved by God. I kept the feeling of being a child of God. And I learned all of that in my church. So the group I left really helped me. It was a stepping stone for what I did next. I didn't have to rewrite anything. I added to it. God got bigger for me. Answer to this question, really only you can answer this question about the group you were with. But if there was love there, and I'll bet there was, they probably helped you, and you are better because of it today. Yuan, they probably told you that because they were sorry to see you go. But the truth truly is that they probably helped in whatever way it was, if there was love there, to get you to the place where you're happy now. So I'm sorry that they said that, and I'm sorry that they lost you. But the chances are they helped you a lot.
Nice answer. And yeah, you do feel that there's love there from the people who want you to stay in touch with how they believe should be the way.
That's true,
isn't it? Yeah.
And if you think about it, it comes from a place of caring and from a heartfelt.
That's what I sensed as
thing.
well.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, another question from Megan in Utah of the US. Megan is asking, after my spiritual awakening, I find myself sobbing at my job and aching for a more spiritually inclined and fulfilling line of work. Is there a spiritual job board anywhere or suggestions on how to find my sense of purpose? I want colour in my life. I am sick of black and white. Megan, we hear you. Absolutely. I think Lee and I both can relate to having an awakening and still being in a previous occupation and not kind of immersed into what we are now doing now.
I love spiritual job board. There probably is.
I think that's great, isn't it? Spiritual job board.
But I'll tell you what our spiritual job board became. Our spiritual message board is synchronicity. We believe in synchronicity, and we have seen it over and over with the ability of taking you out of something that is not, I would say, commensurate with your magnificence and into something that is, something that you really enjoy being part of. It doesn't have to be a spiritual thing, too. It could simply be another job which you're surrounded by perhaps kinder people or people who are a little more awake, if you wish. It has to do with, how you are and what you expect. So visualize something better. And don't decide what it's going to be. And thank Spirit every day for the spirituality that is coming in your life that would allow you to see that synchronicity. Then sit back and celebrate that it's coming. You think I'm kidding? I mean, there ought to be someday, if you could look into my personal life, into the life of Monica and my partner Monica together, and what has happened, bang, 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 and you know that synchronicity is the spiritual message board, because this is what we have done. We have actually created certain kinds of situations without knowing what we were creating, because of doing just that, saying, we need to move this off the peg where it is. We don't know what's going to happen, but thank you, Spirit, that it's coming. And then at the perfect time, it arrived. And we just sit back and laugh and cry that it works. That is how it's done. And that's done for all of us. That is what we teach.
So I'm going to hold intent for Megan, and I invite everyone listening to this program, let's hold intent for Megan, and for anyone else who is ready for a shift, that I give thanks for the perfect synchronicity coming to me with grace and ease.
And then the fourth one, hidden attributes about the innate. What else is there, perhaps, that we have not talked about? So in this first section, we're going to identify it to the best we can. But in that identification, there will be repeat. And that is, for those who have heard the channelings before, the teachings of my partner, the answers to the questions for over a year here, you're going to hear things we've covered. Some have asked, well, haven't you covered this before, Kryon? And the answer is yes, but there are so many watching this right now who've never heard this. And the second part of this is, you can't hear it too often. And I say that because it's not just information. This is an energetic transmission of truth about your own body and what's in it. You can't hear that too often. The reason I say that is because even right now, for the one who said, I've heard this before, I will say, well, then why don't you use it? Because I can tell you really have no idea what you have. I gave an expression a long time ago, a metaphor about so many things spiritual, but the innate is like this. You've been given a 747 airplane, and all you've done all your life is to run it up and down the runway. And you're proud of yourself. Wow, look at me in this big airplane, and look how fast it can go on this runway, with really no idea that you can fly. The innate is that way. What is it? It's been called the smart body. Right away, we will tell you this. The innate is not in 3D. It's not chemistry. And you'll say, well, what is it if it is not chemistry? Is it consciousness? Partly. We're going to get to that when you ask, where is it? Consider there is an overlapping consciousness of your cellular structure that has nothing to do with your brain. It's the best I can do to give you an idea of what is there right now, as you sit there, as you watch this, called innate. And that overlapping consciousness of your cellular structure means it's a field, perhaps, within your body. Not a field that is outside of your body, but within your body. But it encompasses every single process the body has. Every single process. Now, I'm not talking just about cellular process, because your consciousness is also an attribute of your body. So innate is hooked into your consciousness. Question, is your innate hooked into your spirituality? Now, that's a question for the next week. We'll get there. But let's define what it does that is so fascinating, that has interested scientists and and those who study spirituality, and even those who study technical things, because the innate encompasses so many things. Let's look at what it does. It's called a smart body because it knows about itself more than you do. It knows also about subconscious things. Now, this is one of the giveaways. The innate can go around your subconscious programming as well, because it knows what is and is not happening in your body. You may think you know what is and what is not happening in your body, but it is developed by your consciousness, which includes blocks to what may or may not be happening. Your innate has no blocks. Innate, let's go right to the miracle. Your innate is responsible for spontaneous remission. Period. There may be things in you right now that you are distressed about, or you might say so intensely fighting to change, or there's disease and all. And it's all within your own consciousness, within your own, I would say, logic to discover what am I going to do next, and how can I do this, and how can I do that, and who will I see, and what will I write, and all of that in order to solve them. I want you to picture for a moment, what if it could all be solved in an instant? Innate is known for that. It's known for that. So what does that tell you? It tells you you may be fighting a battle that you don't have to fight. There are so many things innate is responsible for. Dealing with your own conscious, not your subconscious. Innate knows what's wrong with you. That's why muscle testing works. It works with the innate. How is it that you can test your body and find out things like, for instance, are you allergic to this or that or whatever? And you'll have no idea. And before you ever turn to medicine to find out, the innate will tell you because it knows. Let me give you my favorite one. It's the consternation of medicine. Early on, the drug companies, in order to do scientific tests of their own work and their own drugs, had to use the scientific method, had to do blind studies, and so they developed the sugar-coated pill. So they do a test to find out how their drug works, and some of those pills, clearly marked to them but not to the others, they give to people, and there's nothing in them. And what they discovered early on was called the placebo effect. In other words, the people had the reaction that they were told they would have, even though there was nothing in the pill. And the consternation to researchers is the placebo effect, because it skewed the data. They didn't like it, because it really didn't tell them much about what they were doing, because it kept getting in the way. And this is where I say, humans, what is wrong with you? That you didn't take a look and go, oh my, there's something grand happening. Let's study the placebo effect. But they didn't. They simply reported it. Oh, by the way, we have to throw away about 100 people here who got well anyway. Oh, that's the innate. In other words, your consciousness took a pill, and in that pill was the thought, it's going to do this or do that or cure this or cure that. And you took the pill, and it did. That's innate. What is it? Where your consciousness can be sharpened so much that you simply think about something and your innate then goes all the way. Spontaneous remission, placebo effect, homeopathy, it's all there. That's what it is. Would you like to know more? Where is it? How are you going to use it? Would you like to know? All of these channels are available for free and will be. You do not have to buy these programs, dear ones, for these channels. This is a promise that my partner has made. And so, you'll be able to hear all four and to learn more. Are you interested? You should be. This is a miracle about to happen in your own body. I'm Kryon. in love with humanity and the majesty within it. And so it is.
And from that beautiful space, that beautiful floaty space that many of you are still within, I invite you to gently bring your awareness back into your body. You may open those eyes if you've had your eyes closed. And as we become more present in our body and more grounded, I want to announce who our special guest is, although many of you already know that joining us for this section of the program is Matt Kahn. And Matt, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Well, we want to tell everyone about you, although I find it surprising that there's people out there who don't know about you.
That's right. And may I say, it's such a huge energetic footprint that he offers this planet, and such a short bio tells me a lot about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Matt Kahn is the author of the best-selling books, Whatever Arises, Love That. Everything is here to help you, and the universe always has a plan. God bless you for saying that. He is a spiritual healer, highly attuned, empathic healer and teacher, and he serves the awakening and evolution of sentient beings everywhere throughout this heart-centered planet, and especially in his offerings that he has, and that is what he does.
Now, his global audience is finding the support that they seek to feel more loved, to feel more awakened and empowered to the greatest possibilities in life during this critical time in history. Now, Matt's spontaneous awakening arose from an out-of-body experience in early childhood, and it's through his direct experiences with the ascended masters and the archangels throughout his life that has helped him deliver what he's doing today.
Using his intuitive abilities of seeing, hearing, feeling, and my favorite, direct knowing, Matt brings forth revolutionary teachings through both the written and spoken word. This assists energetically sensitive beings in healing the body, awakening the soul, and transforming reality through the power of love. And that is what Matt is all about. Welcome to this program, Matt.
Thanks for having me. It's truly an honor to be here with you both.
I feel the power of love already.
I want you to... We always like to know, how did this happen? And then you can go from there.
Sure, my God, how did this happen? Well, when I was about 8 years old or so, I had an out-of-body experience. And for me at that time, it felt like I went to sleep on any ordinary night, and I went to sleep and I had a dream. And I found myself in a garden filled with the most exquisite colors of light bursting in every flower and petal. And I was raised in the 80s, and during the 1980s, there was a very big campaign about don't talk to strangers. And as a kid, if I was somewhere without my parents, I felt very scared. My first sense in this garden was, I don't know where I am, but I feel totally safe. And I even felt more love than I've even felt from my family. And I was held in a love I couldn't explain. And as I walked through this garden, I found myself moving through this field of waist-high flowers. And I can feel my 8-year-old body moving through this thick brush of waist-high flowers. And then I simultaneously realized I was floating above the flowers while also seeing myself moving through them. And I couldn't explain this, but the love was so intense, it didn't need explaining. And then about 10 feet in front of me, I saw this figure in a white robe, shoulder-length dark hair and a dark beard, motioning me towards him. And I had no idea who he was. I was raised Jewish in my upbringing. But I felt a familiarity. And as I floated about, close enough to him, I could see this pure light pouring out of his eyes. But as an 8-year-old, I kind of thought of like scary movies where people kind of roll their eyes up and in their head. I had that funny thought, and it broke the state of the experience. And I immediately fell through the garden. I fell through the sky, and I fell back in my body. And only when I landed back in my body did I realize I left it. And then in the corner of my eye, in the doorway of my bedroom, I saw the same figure motioning me towards him in this white energy, or etheric energy, as I would now call it. And the very next day, I went to a friend's house and I had the most extraordinary experience. And in their living room, they had a painting. And I said, that's who I met. Who is that? And he said, Matt, that's Jesus. And I go, well, I don't know who he is, but that's who I met. And then my friend had this reaction like, Matt, you could not have met Jesus. And I didn't know why it seemed so illegal at the time, but in my heart, I knew that's who I had met. And from that experience, I began to, in my peripheral vision, have the sense of angels walking with me. And I didn't even know what an angel was, but I knew that's what they were. And I started having these direct knowings where I just knew